Hello guys, Kamaru Usman is an African fighter who fights for the UFC in the middleweight. In his class, Kamaru Usman had succeeded in occupying the throne in the middle class. Apart from being the middleweight champion, it turns out that Kamaru Usman has also managed to occupy the first pound for pound at the UFC in 2021. But apart from Kamaru Usman, it turns out that there are two more monsters from Africa who are fighting for the UFC. Who do you think are the three fierce fighters who won the UFC? Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell, guys. Israel Adesanya. Adesanya, whose real name is Israel Mobolaji Timoteo Ajaneo Oluwafemi Olabi Adesanya, born 22 July 1989, is a Nigerian-born New Zealand professional MMA athlete. As an MMA athlete, he is currently under contract with the UFC, is a middleweight champion, as well as being ranked 4th in the UFC men's pound-for-pound rankings. Previously, Israel Adesanya had no interest in sports or martial arts, because he preferred Japanese anime such as Death Note and Naruto. That is what inspired Israel Adesanya's stage name, The Last Stylebender, referring to the anime film Avatar: The Last Airbender. After he became a victim of bullying in his school days, then everything changed. Since then, he decided to return to the world of martial arts so that he can defend himself and others when he gets bullied from the environment around him. Adesanya started kickboxing at the age of 18 and has since decided to become an amateur kickboxer with a 32-0 before moving and fighting in China and learning various martial arts to hone his mentality. Adesanya made his debut as a professional MMA fighter and successfully defeated James Griffiths in March 2012. Adesanya's fight record is impressive, as he only suffered one defeat against Jan Blachowicz at UFC 259 out of all his fights. There are news that Adesanya is interested in following in the footsteps of UFC star Jon Jones to give up his championship title and move to a more challenging heavyweight division, although not in the near future. Adesanya is widely regarded as one of the best strikers in mixed martial arts. Francis Ngannou. Real name Francis Xavier Ngannou, born September 5, 1986, is an MMA athlete who fights in the heavyweight division for the UFC. Ngannou is the reigning UFC heavyweight champion. He is known as the hardest recorded puncher in history. As of June 14, 2021, Ngannou is ranked 5th in the UFC male pound-for-pound. Ngannou is a child from a poor family who divorced and had little education growing up. At a young age, he rejected his friends to be in a gang like his father, but he decided to turn it into something positive: boxing. At the age of 22, Ngannou started to practice boxing, until at the age of 26, he decided to go to Paris to practice boxing. But he was imprisoned for entering illegally, until he was finally expelled, and had no money. Finally he met someone who brought him to MMA. Ngannou's career in MMA was late, as he started at the age of 27, but it was paid off with the rapid progress he experienced. It only took Ngannou 2 years to catch the eye of the UFC, in order to become a heavyweight fighter. Ngannou's ferocity and high knockout percentage made him quickly recognized. In just 3 years, Ngannou was able to appear in the fight for the UFC heavyweight title against Stipe Miocic. Even though he lost then, he was finally able to win the fight dominantly in the rematch duel at UFC 260 in March 2021. Now Ngannou has become the UFC heavyweight champion. But that's not the end of the story, because Ngannou must defend his title in the UFC and make his name bigger. And it's not easy, because to defend the title in the UFC heavyweight, Ngannou has to face ruthless hands like Jon Jones, as well as a rematch duel against Stipe Miocic. As a reminder that Jon Jones has never suffered a pure defeat in his fights. The only defeat he experienced was due to disqualification. Kamaru Usman. Real name Kamaru Usman, born 11 May 1987, is a Nigerian MMA fighter who competes in the Ultimate Fighting Championship and was a former UFC middleweight champion. Usman is also the champion of the Ultimate Fighter 21 tournament. Usman was born in Auchi, Nigeria. His father was a Nigerian soldier. Usman and his family moved to the United States when he was 8 years old. He started wrestling in his sophomore year of high school in Arlington, Texas. After setting a 53-3 record in high school wrestling, Usman wrestled with Jon Jones in the junior national tournament before college. After finishing high school, Usman attended William Penn University for 1 year, where he followed the NAIA national qualification. He then transferred to the University of Nebraska-Kearney. Usman is a member of the NCAA Division II All-American. In the 3 years he was with UNC, he won the team title for the first time in 2008. In his senior career, he won his 174th national title Division II in 2010. In addition, he is also a member of the World University Wrestling Team in 2010. In wrestling circles he is known as Marty. Usman also has a brother, Muhammad, who is also a mixed martial arts player. In addition to former national soccer star Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare was also pinned for Usman. Usman won the UFC welterweight world title belt by defeating Tyron Woodley at the UFC 235 event on March 2, 2019. Kamaru Usman's fight record is 22-0. Well guys, those are the 3 monster fighters who competed in the UFC. Don't forget to write your comments below, like, share, and see you in another video. See ya.